Hello all, and I am America's next top hooker. I'm back to give you guys a little breakdown of some of the experience I've had and what makes me of the candidate of choice for you guys. My years of experience, different areas, different techniques I've had to use over time, they've all come into play. With anywhere from smell fishing. We had a tradition in the family, smell fishing every year. That was April 1st, April Fool's Day. We go out to the lake, the whole family. It was a tradition of ours. We'd all get together. It was kind of a meeting spot in case you lost touch, before nice fancy technology kicked in. And, you can't lose somebody these days if you wanted to get rid of them, if your life depended on it. But we've done that. It was basically something since I was born. We'd catch thousands of smelt. I'd clean them guys. As a little kid, I was like 5 years old out there. It was my only time to be out late, about 1 in the morning on a school night or so, because whatever day April 1st fell on was the day for us to do our thing. And tradition kind of dwindled. We don't do it much anymore. Just smelt stopped coming around. So nobody really does it. But there was something there, Navy Pier, a lot of lakefront was me. It's being right here in Chicago my whole life, the city, the lakefront really offers great fishing around here. There's between the break walls, if you get a boat out and stuff, you can get out to the break walls. There's a lot of nice big smallmouth are in now. To years ago, it really wasn't much, but trout, coho, salmon. We'd fish power lines. You're allowed up to 48 hooks at the Chicago lakefront, so that was pretty cool. We shoot I don't know how many people really ever got to experience that, but power lining, we take a steel rigid pipe, screw it into a fire extinguisher and launch this thing out, and it would shoot out about a pound weight. And you attach a rubber band to it and shoot this thing out like 300 feet. Then you pull in the rubber band and stretch it way out, and then you attach on your lead line and just a couple bobbers and pulls it out and throw out 50 lines. And that was a cool technique that my uncles taught me as a kid. And, did that. Fished a lot of the breakout, the piers, a lot of big piers. There's Montrose Harbor and the Chicago north side, and was a great area for yellow perch. The beach kind of filled it in, so I don't see as much action out there as as well as it was years ago, or 20 years ago now. Time flies. And I fished there. A lot of traveling I've gone in there's Chautauqua, Wisconsin. There's the Channel Lakes in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. There's where I caught my biggest walleye ever. It was a 33-inch, 8.5-pound walleye. Little skinny guy. I'm usually a 33-inch. You'd have figured weighed more, but what the heck. But I was only 8 years old when I caught it, so it was pretty impressive. And caught that thing in the middle of the night, just throwing a white twister tail out. Picked that thing up. I snagged a big giant pile. I thought it was a pile of weeds. I was going to see a giant fish head come up. I'm like, fish on. Dropped him in the water and got the net. So Chautauqua, Wisconsin. I did Lake Lac-Courte. It's like spelled like La Courte-Ralis. It's French, but that's in Hayward, Wisconsin, and that's a great muskie lake. There's some big stuff. Next, you ran into the pro out there, Pete. I believe it's Pete Best. He's a muskie hunter, and then my brother on that trip, we actually caught a muskie that made Muskie Hunter magazine 3 times. It was like had a distinct arrowhead design on it, and then a forked tail in its fin. Sucker was in the Muskie Hunter. They had it blown up, and here, sure enough, my brother caught that sucker, 49.5-inch hybrid, 38-pound tiger muskie. That was pretty cool. On that trip we killed them. We got a lot of more northern pike than muskie, and then I'm a walleye guy, so I'd sit out there all night, and I was working jointed rapalas, casting off of the Sunken Rock Islands and those things. That was, because I talked with the one guy next to me. He said the best way, he was like, he's an old timer. He was out there he's been fishing there probably 50 years, and he said that was what he found in the end. And sure enough, I charted the area with my flasher on my boat, and I always like the flasher. It's easier just to keep touch with the bottom instantly. And I found these islands, and they're real good out there. Minnesota was my dad's favorite spot, up by Duluth, but his place was Grand Marais, which is basically the farthest northeast corner of Minnesota. And I only luckily got to go up there a few years back with him before he passed. Cancer got him, unfortunately, brain and lung. But it was called Devil's Kettle, and there was all these real nice trout streams out there where he worked in a bait shop as a kid. for like 3 years and just learned to tie flies and all that stuff and make his own lures. And he really loved that, working out there, and he got to bring us there. And that was a nice spot. We were working a lot of rock, where I'm used to doing a lot of sand in the river I fish, in the Wisconsin River. It was more rocky out there. I actually had to be careful because 1 minute you're in 10 feet of water, next minute you're in a foot of water, and your props, half the size if you hit 10 rocks. So yeah, we killed the walleye. I found him. I never fished those waters, and yeah, I went on. I was listening to him, but he was kind of like his spots were changing or something because I had to do it myself, and I found some pretty good holes. Yeah, working with all these experiences, like these different areas. It's just I've worked so many uncharted waters. Going in Indiana, I just show up at lakes at random, and I just work there. I look for bait fish. I know how to chart. I know how to watch for the wind, the current breaks around points and stuff. So it's like I'm always keeping an eye out. Just with these, it's like I don't think I have to me there's no intimidation. I think anybody in water and fishermen and professionals are just professionals because they were seen or whatever the case. They were able to get a little bit more on the open game. I mean, they got on the scene where they were seen. Nobody knows who I am, so they don't know anything. I know is I will try it, and I don't have any worries or doubts that I can't just hold my own. I know how to read water. I know how to read structure. I know how to read current. That helps me. My saltwater experiences is not too high. My best thing was brackish waters out in Clearwater, Florida. I was out there and we were just catching, I think they were just snappers. We were getting some snappers. We were out there swimming with the manatees. That was pretty cool. I mean, the water was crystal clear. So that was that was cool. I went on the deep sea boat, but I wasn't really feeling it. I just got done off a Bahamas cruise. I was pretty out of it, and we tried forcing out there, and I didn't feel like doing much. And I just was watching a pole, and nobody was catching anything anyway. So, but it's saltwater fishing. It's just nothing. Saltwater to fresh water to me, it's just get out there with a bigger bait or whatever the case, a bigger live bait. So saltwater is just another body of water to me, and that's it. Being a city, it makes me a little more diverse. I can handle all people. I know the fast lane, I know the slow lane, I know all lanes. I mean, I've done this, and I've stayed really involved. I'm always out. I'm active. I keep on the art scene. I do spray can art around the city for cleaning up communities, helping out where it's really bad around here and stuff. So I've been doing that since I was a kid. Kept me out of a lot of trouble, so that was always a good thing. Music, I play guitar and drums, I sing, so I produce my own music in time, when I'm in between. So that helps to make characters, somebody that can know some stuff, feels, I got heart, put a lot of heart and soul into what I do. So it's, it keeps me going. It just keeps me at a faster pace. I'm always got to be watching out. So, and then, other than that, it's, I think I got the competitive edge. I'm solid. There's no pressure on. I feel I can get out there and I can do the job. I can get it done. And I know the waters. I know how to keep moving. I know how to look for colors. I know how to change when it comes to time. And then I just have the ability to hold up over anybody. I can just keep going. I was just on the river this past weekend. I stood in the boat for literally 10 hours straight, maybe even 12 hours straight. We got out there in the river at 6 in the morning, didn't get off the water till almost 6 o'clock at night. So I just stood because the fish were active and I wanted to keep catching fish. So to get the big ones and the ones that counted, I brought home 20 fish, cleaned them all, and now my friends are loving it because I'm giving them bags of fish. So they're digging it. They love it. So if anything else you guys need, let me know because I am ready. I need it. I'm hungry for it, and I'm ready. Let's just get out there and let's make some great TV. Let's make some great competition. Let's make some families and people have something to do when they have nothing else to do. So, all right, Top Hooker, let's do this.